Get out and don't come back, Em screamed, her voice echoing as she hurled my clothes onto the lawn. 7 years later, I received a call from security. Ma'am, your parents are at the gate of your estate. I smiled faintly and replied, let them wait. I set down my coffee and gazed at the security monitor, where 2 figures huddled under an umbrella outside my Malibu estate gates. The same parents who had tossed me out like trash on my 18th birthday. The same ones who'd called me worthless, a burden, a waste of space. Ma'am, the security voice crackled through the intercom. They say it's urgent. Family emergency. Family. The word tasted bitter, even after all these years. I am Luna Thorne, though they knew me as Lucy and Thompson, the daughter they erased from their lives. At 25, I owned a tech startup valued at $200 million. I lived in a house worth more than my parents would see in 10 lifetimes. I had built everything from nothing. Well, from less than nothing. Actually, from active sabotage. Tell them to wait, I repeated. I'm in a meeting. I wasn't actually in one, but they could stand in the rain for a while. I'd endured worse. 7 years ago, I woke up on my 18th birthday to my mother ripping the covers off my bed. Get up, she snarled. You're 18 now. A legal adult. Time to go. I blinked, confused. Go where? I have school. Not anymore. We've withdrawn you. Your father and I discussed it. We're done raising you. But I graduate in 2 months, I had protested. Should have thought of that before you became such a disappointment. My crime. I refused to drop out at 16 to work at my uncle's factory. I wanted to finish high school, maybe even college. I dreamed of working in tech, of creating something meaningful. To my parents, Karen and Dale Thompson, that made me ungrateful, too good for their raising. My younger brother Kyle watched from the doorway, smirking. At 16, he'd already dropped out to work construction with Dad, the golden child who understood his place. Mom, please. I begged as she threw my clothes onto the lawn. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem anymore. Maybe those fancy dreams of yours will keep you warm, she spat. Neighbors watched, some with pity, others with judgment. In our small Georgia town, the word of the Thompsons was law. If they were kicking out their daughter, she must have done something to deserve it. My father stood on the porch, arms crossed. Don't come back begging when you fail. You made your choice. What choice? I had screamed. Wanting an education. Thinking I was better than them. He had corrected me. Well, let's see how far that attitude gets you in the real world. They went inside and locked the door. Just like that, I was homeless, with only the clothes they'd thrown out and $50.73 I'd saved from tutoring math. I walked to the library, the only place I could think of, and sat there until closing, fighting back tears. Mrs. Chun, the librarian, noticed. Lucy, shouldn't you be home? I don't have one anymore. She listened, then did something that changed everything. She handed me an old laptop. It's not much, but it works, she said. And Lucy, don't let them win. You're brilliant. I've seen how quickly you help those kids. That's a gift. That night, I slept in the park, clutching the laptop. The next day, I used the library's Wi-Fi to look for resources, shelters, youth programs, anything. That's when I found Future Path, a program for homeless youth offering temporary housing and help finishing school. The catch? It was in Los Angeles. I used my $53 for a Greyhound ticket and never looked back. The program provided a bed and access to online classes. I finished high school in 6 weeks, then started free coding courses. Turns out, I was good at it, really good. By 19, I was freelancing in web design. At 20, I rented a studio apartment. By 21, I built an app that helped homeless youth find resources, shelters, food banks, job training. It went viral after a tech blogger featured it. Investors came knocking. This is brilliant, one said. They invested $2 million. I used that to grow the app, hire developers, and build partnerships. By 23, we'd connected over 100,000 homeless youths with vital resources. At 24, Google offered to buy us for $200 million. I said no. We were just getting started. Now, at 25, Path Forward is the leading platform for youth in crisis. We've expanded internationally, partnered with governments, and saved countless lives, all without my family's support or approval. Ma'am, Security interrupted my thoughts again. They're still waiting. The woman is crying. My mother had never cried for me, not when I begged to stay, not when I called from LA hungry and scared, swallowing my pride to ask for help, only to be told I was dead to them. I decided, send them to the guest house. I'll meet them there. I didn't want them in my home, the guest house was enough. I took my time getting ready. Designer jeans, a simple but expensive sweater, minimal jewelry. I was no longer the desperate girl they'd thrown away. I was Luna Thorne, CEO of Path Forward, named one of Forbes 30 Under 30. They needed to see the difference. The walk across my estate took 5 minutes, through sprawling grounds, past the pool, tennis court, and meditation garden. 5 minutes to face faces I'd only seen in nightmares for 7 years. They sat on the guest house porch, soaked despite the umbrella. My mother looked older, grayer, smaller. My father had lost weight, his face gaunt. They looked up as I approached, recognizing me. Lucy, my mother's voice broke. It's Luna now, I corrected. Lucy died 7 years ago. They looked at me, my appearance, my confidence, my success. Alive, fed, not begging on the streets like you predicted. We didn't know, my mother whispered. You thought what? That you could throw out your teenage daughter and I'd just disappear? Or did you hope I'd fail and come crawling back? My father muttered, we made a mistake. A mistake, I echoed with no humor. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. You threw me out. You withdrew me from school. You called me worthless and told me not to come back. My crime, I said coldly, was wanting an education, dreaming beyond this small town. My mother cried harder. We were wrong, she sobbed. We see that now. I sat down across from them, studying these strangers who shared my DNA. Why are you here now? I asked. They exchanged glances. My father cleared his throat. Kyle's sick. Kidney failure from an accident at the construction site. He needs a transplant. And you want me to get tested? You're his sister, my mother begged. I corrected. I was his sister until you decided I wasn't part of the family anymore. Please, she pleaded. He's dying. I stood up. Whatever happened between us? Whatever. I interrupted. When you threw me out with nothing. When I begged for help and you hung up. When I sent graduation announcements from my GED program and you returned them unopened. We didn't know you'd become this, my father said softly. So if I were still homeless, still struggling, would you be here? I challenged. Or is it only worth claiming me now that I have something you need? They were silent. That's not fair, I said quietly. Was it fair when I slept in parks? When hunger gnawed at me? When I cried myself to sleep, questioning what I had done to make my own parents hate me? We don't hate you, my mother sobbed. No. Then what do you call throwing out your child for wanting an education? We thought you were being uppity, thinking you were too good for us. I never believed that. I only wanted more. I wanted to learn, to grow, to build something meaningful. Why was that so threatening? Because we couldn't, my father admitted quietly. We couldn't give you college. We didn't understand your dreams. It was easier to call you ungrateful than admit our limits. That honesty caught me off guard, but it didn't erase the 7 years of abandonment. So you threw me away. We were wrong, he repeated softly. But Lucy, Luna, you're still Kyle's sister. He needs help. Where is Kyle? I asked. Why isn't he here, begging himself? They exchanged glances. He doesn't know we're here, my mother whispered. He's ashamed of how he treated you. He should be. I remember Kyle's smirk as my mother threw my clothes out, his laughter when I begged my dad for help, the texts he sent from my parents' phone. Stop calling. You're not our problem anymore. He was just a kid, my mother defended. So was I. Silence stretched between us. The rain had stopped, but the weight in the air was heavier than ever. Finally I spoke. I'll get tested. Their faces lit with fresh hope. But not for you, and not for Kyle, I said. For the 16-year-old boy poisoned by your bitterness. Maybe, with a kidney from someone who's made something of herself, he'll learn it's okay to dream. My mother reached out. I stepped back. I'm not doing this for free. They looked at me expectant. With what? My father asked. You can't afford my gardener. No, I want something else. I want you to volunteer. At Path Forward shelters. serve meals to homeless youth. Look into their eyes and understand what you did to me. For how long? They asked. Forever. Or at least until you realize every one of those kids was thrown away by someone who should have loved them. Every single one is somebody's Lucy. My father's face crumbled. We'll do it, he said quietly. And I want a public statement, video, admitting what you did. Use it in your awareness campaigns about youth homelessness. Lucia, Luna, those are my terms. Take them or leave them. They nodded defeated. One more thing. After the transplant, if I'm a match, we're done. No happy family reunions. No boasting about my success. You lost the right to claim me 7 years ago. We understand, my mother whispered. I stood to leave, then hesitated. Do you know what the worst part is? If you just supported me, believed in me, I would have shared everything. I would have bought you a house, taken care of you, never let you struggle. But you threw me away because I dared to want more. We know, my father said softly. We lost the best thing we ever had. No, I corrected. You threw away the best thing you ever had. I lost nothing. I gained everything. I turned and walked back to my house, leaving them in the guest house. My assistant would handle the rest. Testing, logistics, paperwork. I'd done my part. That night, I sat on my balcony overlooking the ocean, reflecting on the girl who'd once slept in parks, clutching a borrowed laptop, scared and alone but fiercely determined. You did it, I whispered. You proved them wrong. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Kyle, Luna, I hear you're getting tested. Thank you. I'm sorry for everything. I stared at the message long before replying. I'm not doing this for you. I typed. I'm doing it for every kid told they're worthless. Prove me wrong. Build something with your second chance. I blocked the number and went inside. 2 weeks later, the test results came back. I was a match. The surgery was scheduled and the legal paperwork signed. My parents started volunteering, serving meals to kids who looked like I had once been. Scared, lost, defiant. The day before the operation, I visited Kyle in the hospital. He looked small, sick, nothing like the cocky teen who'd once laughed at my pain. Luna, he began. Don't. I cut him off. Don't apologize. Don't thank me. Just promise me something. When you get better, do something with your life. Finish your GED. Go to college. Build something meaningful. Don't let their limits become yours. He nodded. I want to be like you. No, I said firmly. Be better. I built my life on spite and survival. Build yours on purpose and possibility. The surgery went smoothly. I recovered in a private suite, working on my laptop, running my company. My parents tried to visit, but security turned them away. A year later, I received a letter. Kyle had enrolled in community college, studying computer science. Included was a photo of him in a Path Forward volunteer shirt, serving meals at a shelter. Learning to give back, he wrote. Thank you for the second chance. I kept the letter but didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. They only serve as reminders of how far we've come. The security footage from that rainy day, my parents begging at my gate, I kept that too. Not as revenge, but as proof. Proof that the girl they called worthless built an empire. Proof that sometimes, the best response to being thrown away is to become someone they never believed you could be. They tossed me out at 18 for being worthless. 7 years later, when they begged at my gate, I gave them what they'd given me, nothing but the chance to earn redemption by serving those they considered worthless. The difference? I became priceless by helping kids like me. They became worthless the moment they threw their daughter away. That's true karma. Not success or revenge, but knowing every youth I help find shelter is a repudiation of what they did to me. Every success story from Path Forward proves that throwing away children doesn't break them. It teaches them how to build homes where everyone belongs. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay inspired,